Shalom. It's your boy, Hopeful Elect here. I just want to give you a breakdown on basically what happened on the Shabbat today, which is the Shabbat class I'm talking about. It's the Sabbath, the holy day of the Most High. I'm going to do this every Sabbath where I'm pretty much just going to recap what happened on the Shabbat. Also, special shout out to the brothers over there at Ark of Israel. And of course, all our brothers and sisters that's in the truth. Every Sabbath, I'm going to show you what happened in our class. And guys, stay tuned for the whole video because you'll learn a lot. He's going to give you, Elder Elijah, who's going to give you the breakdown on, the Feast of Dedication. We got that coming up tomorrow, which is December 2nd. So he's going to break that down. And also, he's going to show you guys what December 25th really is about. Because a lot of people are concerned with this crap called Christmas, man. The pagan holidays were a bunch of nonsense where they put trees in their house, which is silly. So stay tuned and check them out. It's your boy, Hopeful Elect. Shalom, Hebrews. And of course, all praise to the Most High. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Hallelujah.
Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Okay, once again, we want to ask that everybody pray for those who should not make today for whatever given reason. We want to keep all our sick and shed in. We want to keep those kind of guys in prayer. And we want this lesson we're going to do today, even though it's the Sabbath, it's not the Feast of Dedication. It's going to be tomorrow. So what we're going to do is it's a lengthy service. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the lesson today like we always do. And then tomorrow we'll just touch on it a little bit tomorrow. Okay, am I loud enough? Okay, so we'll touch on it tomorrow. So we're going to actually go into the lesson. If anybody have any questions about the lesson or anything of that nature, let us know. Let us know, okay, and we can address that at this time, okay? It's a rainy day, it's a dreary day. That don't mean we have to be dreary and nothing like that, okay? I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay. It's got it. It's on. Yep.
Okay. All right. So it's a dreary and rainy day today. So let's just if we are going into a feast. We are here on the Sabbath. Let's just try to go ahead and get into the lesson. Let's show our gratitude to the Most High, learning His Word. Understanding, let's have smiles, no frowns. Let's try to make this thing the best it could possibly be on this day, okay? All right, so we're going to start this thing off. Now, everybody, we're going to be inside the Apocrypha today, but have your Bibles handy because we will go into a few of the Testaments and maybe some of the Old Testament or New Testament, right? So have your Bible present, okay? We're going to start off here as soon as we get Brother Darren, if you can pull up 1 Maccabees 1. We're going to start at the very first book of 1 Maccabees. It's going to be Maccabees 1. We're going to start at that first verse. So we all understand that we're going into the rededication. So we're going to, it's a long, lengthy thing. I would actually have to go from 5 all the way through to, from 1 all the way through to the end of 4. And some of 5, but we don't have that kind of time today. So I'm going to skip through there a little bit and try to hit some of the main parts. And anybody with an interest about exactly what took place, try to go back and read chapters 1 through 4 and half of 5, or you just read 1 through 5. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start getting the lesson started. Okay, so once again, if there's any questions, just let us know, okay? So we're going to start at 1 Maccabees 1, 1 Maccabees 1 and 1.
1 Maccabees 1 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened after that, Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Cheddar.
He came out of the land of Cheddar, go ahead.
Had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead.
Okay.
The first over Greece.
Okay, so now, this is where everything started. Y'all notice that? So this is where everything started. When King Alexander slew Darius the king and reigned over Greece, that's when everything took off. Everything took off right then, okay? Give me a second verse, brother.
And made many wars.
Okay, so we know now that Alexander, which is also known as, but we'll get to that, but Alexander the Great, he made many wars. And what?
And won many strongholds.
He won many strongholds. Okay?
And slew the kings of the earth.
So it wasn't many people or many nations that he rose up against that he was not victorious. Read.
And went through to the ends of the earth.
He went all over. Read.
And took spoils of many nations. Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
You see, so he one of those kings that, you know, that just, how would you say it? He had a lot of, I can't say this, I can't get this word right, but he had a lot of, a very vain-hearted guy. Yeah, I can't get the word, and not my word have I ever made it. I'm just joking. Good morning, brother.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Glad to be here.
I'm smiling too. I'm glad to be here.
She had a good word. She said arrogant.
Exactly. So the word is arrogant. That's what we was trying to get in. He was a very arrogant king. Okay? And everybody walked like they were walking on cotton before him. Am I correct? According to our readings, right? Okay, my brother.
And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries.
Now you see there's an S on that, right? He ruled over countries and what else?
And nations.
And what?
And kings.
And kings.
Who became tributaries.
So, and they became tributaries unto him. So we know that he put together a mighty army and he ruled over many countries and many nations, right? So what is tributaries?
Like paying taxes to them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. They paid, you know, exactly. They paid taxes to him. They had to, you know, give him tributes and gifts and
Territory.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like being a king, but you got to give, how would you say, some type of a I can't think of this word again. But anyway, but he put him, it was like you be a king, but you put another king above you.
Right.
You have your own country, but you have to worship this other guy. You have to go by with this. You can't really make any decisions unless you really get an understanding. The other nation couldn't get a okay through him to say this is what we're going to do, basically.
Like Puerto Rico and the United States.
Yes, exactly. You got it. That's it right there. All right. So this king also was known as Alexander the Great, right? Drop down to that 5th verse and read it.
And after these things he fell sick.
So out of all the dirt he done, all the nations he killed, and all the kings and stuff he ruled over, he fell sick. Everybody having an appointed time. But he fell sick, and what?
And perceived that he should die.
And he had an understanding, he thought that he was going to die, what?
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then died.
Wow, he had 12 years of glory, and then he died.
And his servants bare rule, every one in his place.
So if you see that, even though, remember he assumed many nations, many countries. So he handpicked people to put over different jurisdictions, right? And so after he appointed them, once he died off the scene, now these guys got to step in place, right? So actually, what was one nation has became many nations. Okay, and that 9th verse.
And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years.
Their sons many years. What?
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Okay. So now we see where, like I said, everything kicked off with him, right? But now he's even off the scene, and now things are getting to be even worse than what he was. And read that 10th verse.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome.
Okay, he had been a hostage at Rome. His father had been a hostage at Rome. What?
And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
So y'all see, we're going back to the Greek, remember? Remember how everything it started in Rome, then they did even the Bible started in Rome, then they did the translation into Greek, then from Greek to, all right, from Hebrew to Greek, to Latin, right, into Latin. Okay, where you at, my brother?
11th verse.
Okay.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
So they didn't, from what I'm seeing, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but what I'm seeing is that the men came out of Israel and went to them. And they want to take on those customs themselves.
Yep.
Right? So they went out and they want to seek them out. Right? So we as a nation, people have to understand that there are wicked men out there pursuing our people. Right? They are pursuing our people, and they don't have to be of another nation. They can be of our same nation. And they pursuing us, and they try to get us to bow under the laws of the heathen. But we know what the Most High told us what we can do, what we can't do. As long as we stay under the law. We got to stay under the law and stay within the covenant of the Most High. But we got to be aware that they are there. They are there. So at all times, you got to check the law yourself. You got to check the law yourself and make sure that that you are under the law, no matter how you're dealing, with the situation, right?
Right.
So, brother Chauncey, can you give me Jeremiah 10? Jeremiah 10, we know what that is, right? 10 and 2, right? And we're going to read from 2 through 6. Because we was warned of this before it even happened, but it says that we went out and we seek the other nations. We seek them. But we had already, Jeremiah, we had already been warned against this. We have been warned in this hour against it because we know what had happened before. So Jeremiah 10 and 2.
Jeremiah 10 and 2.
You might want to.
Yeah. Thus says Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Read.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain.
For the customs of the people are vain. Vain. If you look at all the customs, right, of pagan holidays, everything has something to do with self-gain. Everything. And what do you mean by that? I mean, they more concerned about themselves and what they feel about these pagan holidays or what they're going to benefit from the holiday versus what the Most High said do or what He said not to do. And a lot of these holidays are even put together just to keep the economy going, and that's it. Just to keep it going. Now millions of dollars going to be spent in the next 30 to 60 days because they got to get New Year, man. There's going to be a lot of money going to be spent, And where we have a brother?
Let me see.
In the third verse? You in the third verse.
Okay. Fifth. For the customs of the people are vain. Okay. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. The works of the hands of the workmen with an axe.
Okay. So you see that? They cut a tree out the forest. And we looking now, some people already cut the tree.
They cutting them down.
They cut them there,
They
bro.
cutting them and selling them now.
They get them together already right now. They're being cut down. Just look around while you drive down the street, they'll be tied down on top of the car. Them trees gonna be tied down. A lot of people don't say, wow, I didn't know that was in the Bible. But yes, it's there. It's in the book, right? And that fourth verse says what?
They decked it with silver and with gold.
Now what tree do they cut out the forest and deck it with silver and gold?
That was green tree.
That's it. Mm-hmm. But they call it a different type of tree. I heard on, I was, sometimes I get tired of listening to the news all the time, so I switched it.
Channel green tree.
Yeah, I switched the channel.
It's just like different types of grass.
Right.
It's still a evergreen tree, but it just got different
It has
regions or whatever they come from. That's all.
exactly,
Yeah.
and they grow with a point
Yeah.
on top of them, right? And say they take it with silver and with gold, what?
They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
That it move not, what?
They are upright as the palm tree,
Uh-huh.
but speak not.
These trees not gonna talk back to you. Keep going.
They must need be born because they cannot go.
These trees can't get up out the forest and walk by the roots and walk on up into your house and deck itself. You gotta go get it, and you gotta carry it. It need to be born, it need to be carried. What?
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil.
Mm-hmm.
Neither also is it in them to do good.
Wow. But you know what? When people see that, when you actually give them that scripture, and they see that, when it says in that point, I've had this happen to me a few times. It says, they are upright as a palm tree, but speak not, right? It said they must be born because they cannot go. He said, but when it said, be not afraid of them, that part right there, people ride that. We're not going to be afraid to do this.
They ain't gonna do no evil.
Right.
They can't do no evil.
Exactly. They can't do no evil to you.
They ain't read the last part.
Right.
Neither is it doing any good for you.
That's it, right there. That's the part right there. But he started off with don't do it.
Yeah, and also he's given these parallels, like the tree can't do this, the tree can't do that, because people were looking at that tree as a fertility god.
Exactly.
So they're saying that this is not a god. That he can't. The tree can't do this. It can't do that. It's not capable. It's not a god.
It's just a tree.
It's a tree.
Right. It's a tree.
It's just a tree grow up ground. Man take it and make it to be what they want it to be. Right? Give us that 6th verse, brother.
For so much as there is none like unto thee, O Yahweh, thou art great, and thy name is great in might.
So we see that, that people don't realize that when they take this tree and they put this tree in their house, when they go bend down to this tree and put a gift on it, they bow into the tree. When you go to the tree to get your gift from that tree, you're bowing to the tree. Therefore, you're putting that tree above our Elohim, the only true Elohim that's out there. There's no true God other than, our Elohim.
The tree itself is a false pagan god.
Exactly. It is. And we don't realize that we are actually worshiping something when we do these things, right? But it's something that we have to, we have to learn. It's just a learn thing. We learn to do it, but we have to unlearn ourselves, and get on path and get to where we need to be at. And remember, regardless of what happened, we got to stick with the truth. We got to stick with what's real and what's not real. It don't matter how bad my son feels about this. It don't matter how bad my mother feels about this. I'm responsible for me that I don't keep this pagan holiday. That's my responsibility. And no matter how you cry, whoop and holler and say, I need a gift, the only way you're going to get it from somebody else. It won't be me. So you're violating, you're violating my wishes, because the most, as Joshua said, he said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. We're going to serve the Most High. Mm-hmm. And so, the Most High put us in his position that we do the right thing. When we fall as parents, then we call our children to go through the fire. And that's what he means by don't allow them to go through the fire. Also, remember that pagan god, they would take the kids up and sacrifice them to the god?
Molech.
Molech. Molech. That's it, Molech. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Right in Judges. We just got to going down through there. I think we're back with you, brother, Darren, and we in 1 Maccabees 1 and 12.
1 Maccabees 1 and 12. So this device pleased them well.
Mm-hmm.
And certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heaven.
Of the heathen.
That's the heathen.
Of heathen.
You see that? They went They went to the king and got a license.
Please let me do
Go ahead.
it. Can we do it?
Right.
I want to do it. I think it looks so great.
I want to be a part of you. I want to do what you do.
Right.
So, I gotta have this paganism. You know, I'm not gonna make it because it says back in history because they felt like that they had been through so much sorrow. We going through so. They didn't trust in the Most High. They didn't know that the Most High was taking care of them. Right? They had to have fun and laughter and wickedness involved. Right? So if you think about it, what does that tie in today?
Envying, it's like, you know, envying what we see other people doing, and then wanting to do that same thing.
Yes,
And
that
so
too.
different
That's very much, that's solid right there. That's very solid, right? But when we go down to the point where he said that they went and asked the king for a license, that's the part, the license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, right? Don't we know that most of the common day churches today are licensed to teach the ordinance of the heathen?
That's true.
Do y'all know it?
Yeah.
I can say a few numbers and a couple of letters and y'all know that meaning.
Oh, yeah.
501 3C. 501 3C. The churches go out and they apply for that. They apply for the 501 3C. When they get that 501 3C, that allows them, like they have to teach us certain things. Some things they can't teach, they just can't teach against 501 3C. They're all part of that common bond of that same thing that came down through Greece. And we got to understand that, right? Now, not to mention, if you're going to follow I don't want to dagger at any brothers at all, man, out there that's teaching this word. But if you're going to follow a camp, letter or not, it can be letter, it can be number, I don't care what it is. Please check and see if they have a 501(c). See how they register, right? Just find out exactly how they're registered, right? You check us out, you're going to find out that we're registered. We're definitely registered. But we're registered, and our bylaws is the 1611 King James Version Bible. That means we can teach anything that goes along with it. Anything. We're not stubborn to what we can teach. That's the key. The key is that then you got some Israelite camps that are actually out there as a license under being Islamic. It's a lot of different ones. You just have to research to see what they are. Because you don't want to, we've been fooled once. Haven't we? We've been fooled once. Right. And then we got brothers and sisters out there today that's still playing the game of Santa Claus brought you something, and even the kids know that ain't no Santa Claus, no Claus, but your mom and pop. That's what they say back in the day. Right. But they still play their game that Santa Claus brought me over. What's Santa Claus gonna get you there? They just start off all kind of lies. Because no matter what they say, it's a lie, because Santa Claus is not gonna do it. If you take Santa and turn around and write the thing backwards, what does it say?
Satan.
It says Satan. Right?
It don't matter what color.
No.
White or black. Ain't no fat man coming down no chimney.
And they do, he ain't clean.
I don't even see too many skinny men want to go down in the chimney. They got devices for that. They
So, if a so-called Santa come down my chimney, I catch him down, it's gonna be hard on him. It's gonna be real hard on him, because he ain't gonna be up
got
here.
$2 for them.
Yeah. This too, they gonna be red just because the color red.
And they ain't gonna be no cookies and milk.
No, ain't none of that going on at all. None of that. Can you jump back over to First Maccabees, everybody? And we're gonna jump down to that being that first verse, the first chapter. We're gonna jump down to the 41st verse. Remember, y'all got to just read for yourself. We're gonna jump down to the 41st. We're jumping from 13 to 41.
First Maccabees, verse 40.
So we got to understand there's so much of what we're dealing with, but let's go down up in there.
First Maccabees, verse 41.
First Maccabees 1, verse 41.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
What that sound like? One world order, one government. That's what one world order is. It's one government. That's what it is. And then, I don't really get too deep into it, but I'm not going to put it. Let's keep going, brother. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Read.
And everyone should leave his laws.
It says that, now listen what he's saying. He's saying that moreover, he wrote that there should be one people. And everyone should leave his laws, what?
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
All the heathen, then what else?
Yet many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
And what?
And sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
But, brother, if the Most High, he said if you don't walk within his law, statutes, and commandments, he's going to do a special thing if they didn't do this. He said he was going to spread them among the four corners of the earth. These brothers, they must either they didn't believe him, or they just didn't care. But go ahead.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
Now they go about that the law of man has been sent unto them. Will they violate the law of the Most High? Read.
And forbid burnt offerings.
They couldn't do that. They couldn't even do burnt offerings anymore to the Most High. That's almost like them telling Daniel, you can't pray 3 times a day to your God. They call it to your God, right? And then every time we make a noise, you got to jump down and do an act of praise to our King. Read.
And sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
So therefore, they couldn't even do communion. Right? Am I right? Isn't that a part of communion?
Read. And pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh.
Whose flesh?
Swine's flesh.
And
unclean beasts.
so that's telling you right there, the swine is unclean. We don't have to spell out the word pig, do we? Read that 48th verse.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
Can you imagine that? When you don't circumcise a child, there's a lot of bacteria that this fellow carries around with him on a daily basis. No matter how clean he tries to be, he's carrying bacteria. That was a part of the reason why Most High wanted him to be clean. So he wouldn't go out and with his bacteria and defile his mate. But they said, no, you can't do that no more. Where you at, my brother?
Still on 48.
Read.
And make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Read.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city.
Read.
Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land.
Read.
And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
Y'all remember, you guys remember last week we was talking about how Israel had to flee into caves. You remember that? Into the mountains, into the caves also. So therefore, you know, Eden is not the only one that was cave dwellers. We went there too. But we had to go, based on this, right? All right, where you at, brother? 54 yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the 15th day of the month, Casluel, in the 114th and 5th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side.
So now, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me when you build a false god inside a holy place, you mean to tell me that's desolation? Let me read that word. That's abomination of desolation. Am I right? Isn't they trying to build a replica over there inside of my mic? Can you hear me? Oh, him. His mic need to come up. Oh, you need to turn your mic over. Okay. So so they probably making a replica of the temple over there now. They're talking about building one. They're trying to take the Pope and move the Pope over to Jerusalem. Wouldn't that be a abomination of desolation?
Yep.
Yeah. Right? And then how Hamashiach said, when you see the abomination of desolation, to flee.
Yeah.
So we can't watch the news they want to give us, because I'm telling you, it's fun and games. Women gonna come out dressed like hoochies. The men gonna be wearing them little short suits like unreal men. Was that nice enough?
I like that.
Did I do all right, Sister Tammy? I did pretty good, Sister Tammy? Okay. So, you know, I'm trying to leave. So, so we gotta look at this thing for what it is. No matter how it appears, we gotta choose those things which are right, which are clean, right? And that don't go against the law of the covenant, because that covenant is what keeps us. We're the only nation of people that he made a covenant with. Let me clarify that. When he made that covenant with us, the strangers that was in the camp had to abide by the law also, because it was given to them as they stood in the camp. If you go back and read that, you'll find that the strangers was given the law also at the same time that Israel was, because it said, and the strangers within the camp. So let's make sure we got that straight right there. And because, you know, it's not my responsibility to beat down no nation. It's not my responsibility to beat down anybody. It's my responsibility to be on a dying quest for the kingdom, and to keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments, and teach the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of my ability. Right? I let the Most High do what the Most High do, and I do what I do. Because not only do you have strangers that's not keeping the law, but you got Israel that's not keeping the law also. I'm not a judge. I don't judge anybody. I put the word out there, and we let the word. They say judgment starts in the house of the who? The Most High, by Elohim, right? So it's not from a man that does the judgment. It's the word. That's why we try to stick to the word, because the word should do the judging, not us. Y'all feel me? Y'all understand what I'm saying? I don't use the word feel me. Y'all understand? Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to change it. I'm trying to get that. Y'all gotta help me. Okay, so where you at, my brother?
55.
And read.
And burn incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burned them with fire.
Now y'all see that? Do you see that? Did y'all know that the scripture says there's gonna be another time that's gonna come, there's gonna be a famine in the land? And that famine they say is gonna be in the land, you're not gonna be able to find the Bible. That's what the story about the book of Eli was telling us. We gotta look, these heathens don't make these movies just for the hell of it. They let you know this is what we're gonna do. right? So we got to be able to see these things and understand what exactly they're going to do, right? So there's going to be a time when the word is not going to be found. But that's why he said he's going to write it in your heart, right? So same thing. If I walk off from home, they got some camps that you got to wear fringes on your drawers. You got to wear them on everything. Everything you can put them on. Yeah, they got them all around their draw legs and everything else. So you won't be without your fringes. I'm serious. I came in contact with them. Some guys that told me I got on my, I got on my draw. They can't. I wear mine every day. I always got my fringes on. Put them on, pump them fringes. I'm good. But they got to understand that the law was supposed to be written into our hearts. Right? So therefore, just like what happened, you see what happened in the book of Eli, even though they got the book from him, they couldn't even read the book and decipher because you think about it, they said blind. But look at the symbolicness. They were blind, right? So they couldn't get it, right? But just think about how blind you were before you found out you was Israel. When you found out that you was Israel, couldn't you see? Yeah. Could you not? That's how I began to see. Go ahead, brother.
I was just agreeing with you. I mean, I read the book for years. Just
I got some of the nuggets.
Right, but also you're receiving it. You're reading it with someone else's interpretation fixed in your mind and trying to read it to make sure that you understand what they're saying.
So you couldn't get the true value. You see, so they can't get the true value of the book because they're blind because they don't know who it was meant for. They think it was meant for them. We never been on a boat. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're not gonna get it.
Plus the Most High has to open up your understanding. That's in the scripture.
That's big time.
He has to open up your understanding.
That's big time right there, right? That's the big boy book right there. The big boy thoughts.
I did also want to just show how like how the brother was reading in Maccabees. He started at 41, like 41 through 50. It's specifically doing things to go against Israel's laws, like it's specifically like you talk about all the time, doing things to separate us from the Most High.
Yes.
Things specifically that why was the swine chosen to go and sacrifice?
Exactly.
They knew what they were doing, and they still know what they're doing.
Israel had never sacrificed a piece of swine in the history of Israel. It was bulls and goats, right? Now why are you gonna go find an old dirty pig with no pores that eat everything from the nastiest spot of the earth and say we're gonna sacrifice this?
Right.
Isn't that crazy? But also it said what else? It said that they went to the we got to now. I want y'all to hear myself. I'll wait on that. What we have, my brother? 57. Read.
And wheresoever was found with any the book of the Testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
See, they were in the process of banning the Bible. I'm sorry. Today, they are in the process of banning. We talk about this. They are in the process of banning Bible. There are so many countries right now today that they cannot obtain a Bible in their country right now. And it's spreading like cancer. It's spreading. Read, my brother.
Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities.
Go ahead and read.
Now the 5 and 20th day of the month.
Wait a minute, you gotta say that again.
Now the 5 and 20th day of the month.
Is that the 25th day of the month? The 5 and 20th day of the month. What happened?
They did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Yahweh.
So what they did was, they threw down the altar of the Most High and put a idol, a pagan altar on his altar. And then to defile it even more, they came up with the 25th, right? And they said on this 25th day that we're gonna worship our small God in the place of who? Of how they did offerings to the Most High on the 25th day. Right? Did you read the whole thing on 59?
Yes.
Okay. The 25th give us month next month, this month. What do you think these heathens gonna be doing on the 25th day? Isn't that something? There's nothing new under the sun. But we got to open our eyes. If you care about your destiny, because listen, you can't even die and get away from our Most High. I'm sorry, our Elohim. You can't die and get away. You can do all the wrong you want and die. Guess what? He gonna wake you up and judge you anyway. Get up.
You thought I forgot?
Come on, brother. Holler at us for a minute. You're Slim. Man, isn't that something? We got to understand this, that there's no way out. Our forefathers took a blood covenant at Mount Zion that we cannot, I mean blood covenant, I can read it to you, that we cannot get around. It went from generation to generation throughout all your generations. That blood covenant covers us today. That if we keep what is within that covenant we've been talking about, no harm comes upon us, even in this man's land. Because he spread you out away from your land. But because your friend got a new bicycle, don't mean you need to go out and start doing Christmas. Because your friend got that iPad or whatever it was he got, and he just enjoying it so well, and he talking to you like you ain't got nothing, or you believe him. Please don't say I should have did Christmas. Because your friend's gonna pay for that iPad, he gonna pay for that bicycle, he gonna pay for everything else. If he don't change his life before our Elohim or our Redeemer come back to get us, he's gonna pay for every bit of that with his blood. Because he stepped outside of what? The covenant. We have been so much deceived. Give me that 60th verse, brother. It's in the book.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
Okay, real quick, I want to do something really quick. Chauncey, where's your 1611? Here's one. So when we read the Apocrypha, which we're reading out of right now, you got books of red. They come in red, they come in different colors, different faces on them, right? So it might surprise people that we're reading from the Apocrypha. We're talking about the covenant and all that good stuff. We're coming from the Apocrypha and not the Bible. But the 1611 has the Apocrypha in it. When these heathens made this new Bible, they took the Apocrypha out the Bible to deceive you from knowing what your forefathers have done. I just want to say that real quick, just for the record, for those that don't really know how we're doing this, but we don't want to let Brother Chauncey loose in here. We're going to try to hold him down. Where you at, brother?
61st verse.
And the 61st verse reads what?
And they hanged the infants about their necks.
You see that? Let's back up a little bit. 60, it said, at which time, according to the commandments, they put to death certain women just because they circumcised their children, because they circumcised their little boys. They put them women to death because they circumcised those kids, which made them clean in accordance to what? In according to the Most High. The Most High put down a law that Israel must circumcise their children, right? Their males. Now if the women did that, they were keeping the law of the Most High, so they put those women to death. And then in that 61st verse, it says what? And they hang the infants by their necks. So the one that been circumcised, they just threw a rope around the neck of kids. This kids kicking and whining, don't know nothing. Probably not even a good weeks old. And they've been hung by their neck. And these were Israelite kids. These were kids like you and me. People you can identify it with. If you ever had a little brother, a little sister, or a kid of your own, you know what it is to deal with a baby. I've seen a lot of kids born in this place and came down through here. And where you at now, brother?
Same verse.
Okay, read.
and rifled their houses.
And they rifled their houses. Now, they didn't have the guns like we had, I don't think, back then. They mean rifle with the arrows or ruffled all through the houses and went through the house and gathered different stuff. They went and got all these prized possessions and stuff. Once they killed them, they said, hey, he ain't gonna need these shoes. You know, they take what they want. Dead men on these shoes. I don't bury without them. That's why they had the old saying back in the day, only bury my boots on, because they knew when they died, they took them. Man paid about his boots, he wanted them boots. If I want to do them no good. And read.
And slew them that had circumcised them.
And you see, and then the one that performed the circumcision. If Brother Chauncey did the circumcision, they killed the woman that had the baby done, the baby, and him for doing it. I don't want to use you for that, but you understand, right? It's not like that, man. You call it Most High.
That's right.
You just flip it. You know what I mean? Watch that up, you do it. All right, my brother, let's go.
Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
Read.
Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died.
A lot of people starve themselves to death to keep from eating that pork. What do you guys think that Shadrach and Meshach and that bad Negro was about? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's called bad Negro. But Abednego, that's what that was about. They would not eat the king's meat. He said, I would not eat the king's meat. And the king's meat was that pork. They got thrown into a fiery furnace for that. Isn't that something? But people rather to starve themselves to death and die than eat it. That's just how obligated that Israel was unto the law and the covenant of the Most High. We are Israel. We got to get back in line. I'm talking about to the point. I mean, as a whole. I'm talking about what's in the building. I know we're doing our best, but I'm saying as a whole, Israel got to get back in line.
They understood that it literally is a life or death thing. I mean,
It is.
the covenant, just like you said, it's a blood covenant. The Most High takes it extremely seriously, and we did, and you know, many of us are coming to that understanding. But it truly is a life or death thing.
Yes, and you think about it. If you're in a covenant with somebody, if they take it very serious, you might want to take it serious too. Really, I mean, you know, a covenant is an agreement, right? So if you make an agreement with somebody and they got it in life, they got to be in life and death. If you violate, you need to have the same thought, because if you violate, it's going to be life or death. That's the same thing. That's what it is with the Most High. We just got to make sure we line up and stay right there. We're going to jump into First Maccabees 2 and 1. First Maccabees 2 and 1. Brother Kevin, can you run that first 9 off for me?
Sure. First Maccabees 2 and 1.
Yes, sir.
In those days arose Mattiyahu, the son of Yahukanan, the son of Shimon, a priest of the sons of Yariv, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin.
Read.
And he had 5 sons.
He had 5 sons.
Yahukanan called Caddis, Shimon called Thysis, Yehuda, who was called
Maccabees. Okay.
Eleazar called Abram, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphas.
Read.
And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Yehuda and Jerusalem, he said, "Woe is me!"
He saw all that stuff going around Jerusalem. Whoa, what is going on? Woe is me. What?
Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers?
Read.
Her temple has become as a man without glory.
A temple has become like a man without glory. Read.
Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy.
Have anything changed? Our young men are being killed in the street. We got little kids being killed in the street. Little girl was out there, just out there playing, going to the ice cream truck. Didn't make it. Didn't make it to the ice cream truck. It happening all the time around us today. It's the same thing. We just got to have an eye to see what's going on and make sure we don't partake in it. Regardless of how good it looks, regardless of how it might want to make you give you this certain, you know, and I don't want to use the word vain, but it's vanity. What is the beginning of call? Pride. Same thing as like being vainful, right? Having a sense of being vain. But it puts if whatever you desire puts you in a prideful situation, if it puts you in a prideful state of mind, that is not something you want. I'm going to say it again. Seek integrity and not pride. You know, this world teaches us to be prideful. I mean, when I played football, boy, don't you have a little pride about yourself. You let that man knock you back. Dig in. No, I don't need all that. I mean, my integrity would have did the same thing from if I knew about it. You know what I mean? So we gotta make sure we're there. And it said, her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. They took all those things that were put into the temple. All that stuff was taken away. Because everything was pure gold, pure this, all the linen, all the silk, and all that stuff. All that stuff was taken away. And then they killed the infants in the streets. Right? Everybody is somebody's baby. That boy that laid in the streets out there in Missouri was a bad thing for all those hours. Right? That wasn't a good thing. I've never seen any other nation of people that laid in the street that long after being shot. But once again, Scripture tells us to wait and watch. Okay? Where you at, brother?
I'm at 10.
Okay, hold tight. So we got to understand. We got to understand that these things that they're going to run down to. I'm going to run down to 12 too. But we got to understand about these things, right? And we got to understand about our obligations to the Most High. We got to do it. But keep going, brother.
What nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
Y'all see it says, what nation did not have a part in this? Can you name any nation, is what it said, that didn't have a part in devouring the people of the Most High? What nation? What nation? Read.
All her ornaments were taken away.
All the ornaments were taken away. What else?
Of a free woman, she has become a bondservant.
Now we become bond slaves now. Read.
And behold, our sanctuaries, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the other people have profaned it.
You walk inside the churches today, they got people all around the corner, all down the steps, and everywhere hugging and touching, and they come in like they're getting ready to do a runway of whoredom. You got men walking around with clothes tight enough that you can see them breathe. All this stuff is defiling. It's defiling. It is really defiling the temple. But it is going on like nothing being said. The first thing they say is, don't judge me. You know, in the last day, you always somebody judged you. You got that 12th verse out yet?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to look up real quick. Psalms 83 said, the question asked was, what nation did not have part in the kingdom and gotten her spoils? But if you look in Psalms 83, we're going to read just from 2 to 8, my brother. Psalms 83, 2 through 8.
Psalms 83. For lo, thy enemies make me tumble, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And what?
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
They said, come and let us cut. They wanted to cut us off as a people of even being a nation. They didn't want us to even be a nation of people. Read.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
They didn't want us to even remember us. They didn't want us to even be able to remember. They said all the nations came together and did this. Because we're going to find out that, right? Read.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
With one mind, one thought, and what?
They are confederate against thee.
They all with one mind. We hate them. Who did this? Read.
The tabernacles of Edom. And Ishmaelite.
The Israelites, we see them all the time. Keep going.
Moab.
Moab. Keep going.
And Hagrid.
Do y'all know that all these nations still exist today? Just like we exist, they exist. Keep going.
Gibal. Ammon. Amalek.
Amalek, who?
The Philistines.
The Philistines, what?
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Tyre, what?
Ashur also joined in with them.
And what?
They have helped the children of Lot.
They have helped the children of Lot. This nation has helped the children of Lot against us.
Selah.
So that tells us that all these nations came up against us as a people. Your hands up.
Even Lot, wasn't Lot a Hebrew?
Yep.
And Lot, yes. You see that? Do you see that? Even the Hebrews were going against Hebrews. Yeah. We got you. Ishmael is Hebrew.
So is Moab.
Show us more.
Edom.
Yeah. But we got to think about this. Everything that's good is not gold. You read it, brother Dan? I'm looking for First Maccabees. First Maccabees 2. First Maccabees 2 and 13. You jumped into the second chapter. Maccabees 2 and 13. Maccabees 2 and 13.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer?
Uh-huh.
Then Mattathias
Uh-huh.
and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore.
Mm-hmm.
In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city moaning to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias, on this wise thou art a ruler.
They said to him on this wise. This is what they said. Thou art a ruler. What?
And an honorable and great man in this city.
And you are an honorable and great man in this city. What else?
And strengthened with sons and brethren.
And strengthened with sons and brothers. So you know what he did, right? Did I put that in the wrong place? I'm going to do it anyway. They did that for a reason. And before I even say this, I'm going to have this brother to read Ecclesiastes 1, 9 and 10. And you can read that for me real quick. Ecclesiastes, yeah, 1, 9 and 10. That's going to be inside there, 16, 11.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
The thing that hath been.
This is right. This is the Bible now. Read.
It is that which shall be.
Okay.
And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
A lot of people run around now, young people think old people dumb, they think they're crazy, they think they're putting out new stuff, but there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that was going on when I was young is going on today, they just call it something different. Everything that's going on today, when in my age, my parents did the same thing, they just called it something different. The same thing they did over back when they went to the honorable king, and that was a part of Israel, and they say, oh, you're an honorable man amongst the neighborhood. What do y'all think they said to Michael King? Oh, you're an honorable man. You are a preacher. The people listen to you. I tell you what, we're not going to call you Michael no more. We're going to call you Martin Luther. Now, you're Martin Luther King. It's a great rulership name. Now, you can govern your people, and you can tie them into doing what we want them to do. Oh, it'll be beneficial to you. That's why we just found out that Martin Luther King's name was Michael King. I grew up all this time thinking this is a horrible man. Yeah, they fooled me. That's what he was, the man that fooled me. Grabbed my leg and drug me on down the road with him somewhere. But there's nothing new under the sun. That's what they do. They go to some of these Israelite camps, and if you got all these people listening to you, just take this 501c. We're gonna send you money or donations every month. I don't understand how these worthless, non-working men can be out there and teach in Florida one day, they teach in California next day, then back they over here somewhere in New York teaching. How you traveling, bro? Ain't nobody giving you all that kind of money. Who giving it to you? They defiling themselves to mislead us as a nation. Maccabees 2 and 18. You didn't finish 10? Finish 10. I got 2 points. You should have ruled me back in.
Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new. It hath been already of old time, which was before us.
I just told you. Everything you think is new, this is a new thing. No, you just learned about it. It ain't there. You just learned about it. This is a new, man. This is a new thing going on, y'all, and I'm about this. We know about that, we just don't do that. Maccabees, first Maccabees 2 and 18. That's why your parents can see you coming from a long far. Why don't you do that? I already know where it's headed to. Girl, get in here. I don't be my friend. No, you don't. Get in his house. Go ahead. 18. 2 and 18. Read, please.
Now, therefore, come thou first, and fulfill the king's commandment.
He told that honorable man, you come first, and you do what the king wants you to do. What?
Like as all the heathen have done.
Just like the heathens doing. And most I said, don't do the heathen do. And what?
Yeah, and the men of Judah also.
Uh-huh.
And such as remain at Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends.
Uh-huh.
And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards.
So y'all think they're not buying our brothers off now? The ones with high profile brothers. Y'all think they not buying them? Huh? Y'all see why Jay-Z running around with a pump mouth and getting everything he wants. Yeah.
Selling their soul.
Yeah. And his wife out there flaunting around selling her soul. And everybody say, oh, I want to be like Jay-Z, man. You know, I want to be like Beyonce. What's her name?
What you call him?
Beyonce. What's her name? Close enough? I want to be like Beyonce. Why you want to be like Beyonce? Beyonce is out there selling her soul. I didn't get it right?
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's good enough. We know what we're talking about.
Read that, brother. Help me out. 19.
Then Mattathias, Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
And what?
Most High forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances.
Where you at? 22. Oh, you going down to it? Okay. Read.
We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment.
So y'all see, they're not going to get all of it. Some of us going to stand. Some Israel is going to stand. And regardless, when you look that devil and that heathen in the face, you still got to stand. Regardless of how rough he looked, how mean he looked, it don't matter. You got how nice they look. you still got to really, and no matter what they offer you, you still got to stand for what's right. You got to stand for the covenant.
Or how many other people are not standing.
And you got it. That make a big difference too, right? Because a lot of times we follow each other. Y'all heard that? That's what we do, right? Where you at, my brother?
24.
Read. No. Drop down 25. Read 25. I just skip one verse.
25. Mm-hmm. Also, the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down.
And they pulled down the altar, right? Now, give me that 26th verse.
Thus dealt he zealously for the law of Yahweh, like as Phoenix did unto Zambri, the son of Salem.
So y'all realize that the king commissioner, he encouraged the Jews or the Hebrews to tear down, break down the altars of our Most High. We got to be real lawbreakers. Brother Kevin, can you help us out today?
Sure, where we at?
Where you at first?
27.
Okay, read 27, Galatians 2. Yeah, read 27.
And with Matthias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me.
Okay, so so the same thing. Let him follow me. There's no different than what brother. There's no different than what brother our brother did in the past. You know, me and my family, me and my house gonna stand, right? We're gonna follow. They're gonna serve the Most High. So Galatians 2 and 15 reads what?
2 and 15.
Yeah. First Maccabees 4.
Galatians 2 and 15.
We
We who are Yahudim by nature and not sinners of the other people, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of Torah.
So it said, we that are Jews, he got a different Bible. His words are good. But I just want to break it down to a point you guys can see it. It says, we who are Jews by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that the man is not justified by the works of the law, what my brother?
But by faith in Yahushua HaMashiach,
Read.
even we have believed in Yahushua HaMashiach, that we might be justified by the faith of HaMashiach,
Yes.
and not by the works of Torah.
Read.
For by the works of Torah shall no flesh be justified.
Keep going.
But if, while we seek to be justified by Mashiach, we ourselves also are found sinners, is therefore HaMashiach the minister of sin? Never.
Never. God forbid. Elohim. Yah forbid. What?
For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For I through the Torah am dead to the Torah.
Read.
That I might live unto Yahuwah. I am crucified with HaMashiach. Nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but HaMashiach lives in me.
Read.
And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of Elohim, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of Elohim, for if righteousness came by the Torah, then HaMashiach died in vain.
Now y'all know who wrote that, right?
That's Paul.
The Apostle Paul. What did they say about Paul? Hard to be understood, right? And plus he'll throw some stumbling blocks out there for you.
Right.
So when in the beginning it made it seem like we were doing something that was not good.
Right.
But then he turned around and showed you exactly what he meant. The law was not made for people that kept the law. It was made for the ones that break the law. Right? Does it make sense? If you don't break if you're not a law breaker, then why do you need a law? If you live righteously under the Most High, then why should the law make a difference? But knowing the law is how you don't break the law. Make sense?
It's a guide.
First Maccabees 4, Brother Chauncey. 4, verse 1. First Maccabees 4, verse 1.
First Maccabees 4, verse 1. Then took Jorgis 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen, and removed out of the camp by night.
Now this is the Israelite camp. Okay, I'm sorry, keep going. I'm wrong. Keep going.
To the end he might rush in upon the camp of the Jews.
This guy preparing himself to go attack the Jews. What?
And smite them suddenly.
And
the men of the fortress were his guides.
So we skipped a lot to get here, right? But what's beginning to happen now is they're about to put the dedication in place. Keep going.
Now when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the vigilant men with him, that he might smite the king's army, which was at Emmaus. While as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp.
Read.
In the mean season came Georges by night unto the camp of Judas.
Read.
And when he found no man there,
he came into the camp. Georges came in there, man, him and his horsemen, 1,000 horsemen, they came in there to take Israel out. When they got there, they found out that the soldiers of Israel was not there. What?
He sought them in the mountains.
He looked for them in the mountain.
For said he, these follow flee from us.
These fellows, they flee from us. What?
These fellows flee from us. But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, whom nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their minds.
You see that? Read. But that means something, right? That means they have what? If you go into a battle like that and you go in there without, you gotta have a lot of faith. You gotta be really dependent on something very strong. Read.
And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compressed around about with horsemen. And these were experts of war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, fear ye not the multitude, neither be ye afraid of the assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea, when Pharaoh pursued them with an army.
Read.
Now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy the host before our face this day.
Read.
That so all the heathen may know there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel.
So the same Elohim that they pulled us away from is the same one that's going to save them. But we have to have that faith also, and he reminded them the same thing we got to remember, because the word is not dead. This word is alive inside this book. The same Elohim that brought our fathers out of Egypt, right, and saved them, is the same one that's going to save us in our hour, right? So we got to understand that we have to look back. Those was our forefathers that came out of Egypt. No matter what they do with us here in America today, if we or any other land, or any other four corners of the earth, no matter what goes down, no matter what happens, if we keep ourselves tied into the covenant, y'all see it's talking about staying into the covenant. It says that, and remember the covenant of our forefathers. We got to remember that covenant too, because when you remember the covenant, that's something you can go back to the Most High with and tie the Most High to that covenant. Because He has to keep the covenant. As long as you keep your side of the covenant, He has to, He has to honor the covenant. So in remembrance and through repentance, you can call Him upon that covenant. But just because you can, that means you sin and say, now let me go back to the covenant? No, that's not what we do. Give me that. Who just read? You, brother, you ready? We're going to go to the 12th verse. 4 and 12 inside the Apocrypha. 4 and 12.
4 and 12. Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain.
So once again, y'all see how the trumpet come in? Y'all see how the trumpet makes a difference? Y'all see how when the heathens hear the trumpet, how they flee? Y'all see that?
Yep.
Y'all remember how Gideon, how Gideon,
Everybody a trumpet.
yeah, how Gideon and those 300 guys, they blew the trumpet and they thought that, man, a whole slew of people, they blew the trumpet and broke pitchers, and they thought that the whole slew of people were you know, was, how we gonna say it, well, like they were being pursued by a great number of people, right? Y'all see that? So when we come in and we blow our trumpet, in this man, where's your trumpet, brother? When we do these things, that lets you know that there's something about to take place, right, Lord? Did I put you out there? Thank you, my brother. That's somebody what they heard. That is what they heard. You see? So that lets you know there's something that's going on. The Most High is doing something. The Most High is bringing, either He's bringing a word, either He's bringing some action. Something is about to go down when you hear this, and Israel knows that. That's a very distinct sound. That's a sound that none of us should ever forget. Right? I want to speed up a little bit. Where you stopped at?
15.
Okay, we'll keep reading.
Howbeit, all the hindmost of them were slain with the sword, for they pursued them unto Gazara, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus, and Jamia, so that there were slain of them upon a 3,000 men.
Okay, so basically, what Judas did, they just ran them down, chased them all over the country where they could find them and kill them. All right, that's what they did. I mean, y'all go back down to it and read it, but that's what they did. If you drop down, Brother Chauncey, to that 25th verse.
All right, 25.
Mm-hmm.
Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day.
They chased them down and killed them all. That's great deliverance, free.
Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysis what had happened, who, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged, because neither such thing as he would were done unto Israel, nor such thing as the king commanded him were come to pass.
Read.
The next year, therefore, following, Elias gathered together 70,000 choice men on afoot,
60,000 men. Read.
and 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them.
Mm-hmm.
So they came into Idumea, and pitched their tents at Bethshur. And Judas met them with 10,000 men.
Who's Adamir?
Edom.
Nah, they trying to hide from him by another name now, wasn't it? Adamir, y'all even know who we are. Y'all, we know you. We know exactly who you are. Read.
And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of thy servant David.
Everybody know David. Read.
And gave us the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer.
Because remember, Israel had what? 3,000 men. This guy showed up with 60,000 men. That's like David and Goliath, isn't it? Wow. That 31st verse.
Shut up this army in the hand of thy people,
This is the
Israel,
prayer. Read.
and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen.
Read.
Make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction.
Now, a prayer like this right here, he giving this prayer because you know what? Regardless, he going to win a battle. He going to fight these guys regardless for the sake of his Elohim. You know, you see what I'm saying? So now he know he's going to go through this. It's going to happen regardless. But he asking the Most High to what? Weaken this army so that we can handle these heathens.
Well, and I guess the other thing, I mean, it really ties together a whole lot of stuff that we discussed. All right, so we have knowledge and understanding our history. We also know that there's a spiritual side.
Yes, sir.
It's all of what you just read said that he started off recognizing history.
Yes.
Recognizing what his forefathers did, recognizing what Elohim did for his people in the history and how he strengthened his people and how he delivered them.
Yes.
So that's not only recalling history, it's also acknowledging faith that he had and understanding that he had a faith that his forefathers had.
Yes, sir.
And now again he's calling upon that again in faith. So again, we're acknowledging that spiritual side. We're acknowledging the history, the understanding, the knowledge, as well as the spiritual side. It's all part of us.
But if he wasn't a covenant keeper, he couldn't do that.
That's right.
You see, it's one thing to have the knowledge of the covenant and know what your powers are if you walk under the covenant. It's a different thing if you're not walking in the covenant, that you don't have that access to it. But when you know what it is, it's different. It's like having a robber breaking your house. You got a 12 gauge and lock up, you can't get to it. You know what I mean? We got to think about those things. Very good point, brother. What we at now?
33.
33? Cast them down?
Cast them down with the sword of them that love thee, and let all those that know thy name praise thee with thanksgiving.
Drop down that 36th verse. Then Judas?
Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
But see, they'd already taken him out. Well, I missed him. I shouldn't have did that. Anyway, he go to the 35th verse. Read the 35th verse.
Now when Elias saw his army put to flight,
Mm-hmm.
and the manliness of Judas' soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die, valiantly, he went into Antiochia, and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was purposed to come again into Judea.
Okay.
Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up and cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary.
Read.
Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up unto the Mount Sinai. And when they saw the sanctuary desolated, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and shrubs growing in the courts as in the forest or in one of the mountains, and the priest's chambers pulled down.
They saw that the sanctuary had been just trodden down. Read.
They rent their clothes and made great lamentations and cast ashes upon their heads, and fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried toward heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests and blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law, who cleansed the sanctuary and bare out the defiled stones unto an unclean place. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profound, they thought it best to pull it down, and let it should be reapproached to them, because the heathen had defiled it.
Because they've been burning pork. He didn't want to touch the pork.
Right.
He didn't want to. We just pull this thing down. Let it just break. We don't put our hands on it. It's profound. It's nasty. We're just gonna drop. We're just gonna pull it down. Where you at?
Wherefore they pulled it down,
What?
and laid up the stones in the mountains of the temple in the convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built new altars according to the former.
Read.
And made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts.
You mean 49, brother Kevin?
Verse 49.
Yes, sir.
They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the menorah and the altar of burnt offerings, and of incense, and the table, And upon the altar they burnt incense. They burned incense. And the lamps that were upon the menorah they lighted, that they might give light in the temple.
Read.
Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now of the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Kislev, in the 148th year, they rose up early in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the Torah upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the Elohim of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise.
That's why we say, we're gonna open up tomorrow, but keep it for 8 days. Okay, that's the reason of keeping it for 8 days. Okay, go ahead, my brother.
They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them.
In other words, they started rebuilding the temple. Keep reading.
Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Read.
Moreover, Yehuda and his brethren with the whole assembly of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days. From the 5th and 25th day of the month, Kislev, with mirth and gladness.
Read.
At that time also built up Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the other people should come and tread it down as they had done before.
The Gentiles.
And they set their garrison to keep it, and fortified Beit Shura to guard it, that the people might have a defense against Edom.
That's it. Thank you, Mike. That's Idumea, right? Which is Edom. Same. Edom, Idumea. The same thing. So now, question. You know that the Old Testament is a shadow and type of the New Testament. Am I correct? Do you understand what I mean by shadow and type? It's the physical side, and the New Testament is more of a spiritual side, right? Because they was rededicating a physical temple, right? But inside the New Testament, our Redeemer told us that we was what? That we're the temple. So now in this process of these 8 days, we're going to rededicate yourself back to the Most High. If you find anything that's out of order with you, go back through and clean it up like they cleaned up the temple. We're going, you as an individual, and prepare yourself that you can be dedicated back to the Most High. Even amongst the time of the celebration. Don't get so far into celebration that you forget that you are the temple, and don't defile yourself. Because the most important part is that we prepare ourselves to meet the Most High. Whether we're dead or alive, there are people that's going to die on the day of the feast of dedication. Right? I'm not saying that it was. I'm not saying anybody. Don't say, he said he was going to die. No, I was talking about him. It just happened. But I'm saying, prepare yourselves, right? And go back down through there and clean up things that you can about you to make yourself a perfection to the best of your ability, acceptable for the master's use. I want to say thank each and every one of you guys for sitting with us and for going through this lesson with us today and preparing us all for the feast of dedication. And my brother, you got something on you? Okay. Hold on right quick.
This is coming from the book of, coming from the book of 2nd Maccabees. And this is 2nd Maccabees 1:24. And it goes, and the prayer was after this manner. O Yahweh, Yahweh Elohim, creator of all things, who art fearful and strong, and righteous and merciful, and the only and gracious King, the only giver of all things, the only just, almighty, and everlasting, thou that deliverest Israel from all trouble, and didst choose the fathers and sanctify them. Receive the sacrifice for the whole people Israel, and preserve thy own portion, and sanctify it. Gather those together that are scattered from us. Deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred, and let the heathen know that thou art our Elohim. Punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. Plant thy people again in thy holy place, as Moshe has spoken. May Yahshua be a blessing to the reading of the word.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.